welcome. This is a what we're calling a flash talk, if you will, one of the collaborative game talks. It usually takes us a month or two to put these together, and we came up with the idea, David, I think last week on Friday or something.
Yeah. Yep.
And you and Gonzo worked over the weekend to try to create some improv Zoom/video conference games to lighten the mood and build a connection. So I'm going to introduce David and Gonzo in a moment. But for those of you who, some of you have probably done improv before, I'm guessing, but if you haven't, there's a really important rule of improv that we will be observing today, which is that nothing ever goes unwasted, including mistakes. Every offer is a good offer that we build from. And David and Gonzo are learning and developing this stuff in real time for us and for their employees. So, we're gonna find some things that work and we'll find some things that don't. And that'll be part of developing the improv experience. So Gonzo and David are both council members. David is VP at Kronos software. You hear their ads on NPR Marketplace and elsewhere, and your company maybe is a customer. Gonzo works at the American Society of Anesthesiologists. I did say that word. It's a long word. That's a big word, That's a hard word to spell. And he runs kind of product and user experience there for that very large, it turns out, association. But they're also both into comedy. David managed a national comedians tour and then also got up on stage himself and has actually given a TED talk on comedy and business. And Gonzo has done a lot of training. He lives in the Chicago area, so you probably know that Second City is based there, and that's kind of the comedy mecca in the country. So, and I love that look, Brittany. That's great. It's like with the sunglasses and the bandana. It's like it's like, where's your Harley Davidson, right?
It'll be a horse, and it'll be later.
Okay, it won't be a Harley. But love it. So, Gonzo and David, let me turn this over to you. We're here, we're going to be very involved in helping, and this is going to be interactive, and you guys are obviously going to be playing along in the audience. But why don't you, Gonzo and David, just go through a couple of things here, and then we'll start playing some games.
Sure, sounds good. So I'll get started real quick. As Phil mentioned, Dave Gilbertson, Vice President of Corporate Strategy at Kronos, background kind of in strategy consulting and private equity, but outside of that, the most natural path to corporate strategy I found to go through stand-up comedy.
Turns out stand-up comedy, yeah, that's the way.
And a while back, I was a tour manager for a comedian named Louie Anderson. Louie's been one of the best comedians of all time. Fantastic stand-up, but also just a fantastic person. And he kind of he'd been a Vegas headliner for a long time, helped him out with a book, and I have to say, I did that just over 15 years ago, and I still feel like I learned more lessons on leadership by spending time with him and in seeing stand-up comedians up close than I have in all the time since then in a corporate environment. And so that was one of the things I wanted to share some of those lessons through the TED Talk that Phil mentioned. One of the biggest lessons that I always learned was a lesson around failure. And I've opened for Louie a number of times. I started doing some stand-up myself, and he asked me one time to open for him in Las Vegas, and I said, absolutely, right? Without even thinking or remembering that I wasn't actually that good. That was a really critical data point. So I started going up on stage and going to open mics, and I failed all the time. And it ended up being just a good, kind of a good way of learning how to be vulnerable in front of an audience. And I've actually found some of those lessons pretty applicable in this environment. I actually did talk to Louie just a couple nights ago. We were just catching up. We got to be really good friends. And so I asked him how he was doing with all the insanity going on and the health crisis. And he said, Dave, our government is mandating that I sit around. I've been training for this my whole life. And I thought, well, that's not a bad point. There is nobody I've ever met that is better at sitting around than Louie Anderson. So I thought that was pretty applicable. I actually think that ability to be vulnerable is an important lesson as we're all trying to navigate. How do you lead a team entirely remotely. And at a time when there's very likely that you're going to be interrupted by kids, and conference calls are going to be taking place at odd times, and it's not going to be a perfect scenario, but you're all in this together and you make it work. So Gonzo and I have been talking just over the last few days. We had a few ideas, but like all good improv, we have no idea. This is something that it's uncharted territory. It hasn't been created yet, so we're not sure if it's gonna work, but it seemed like fun. So maybe Gonzo, with that, if you can maybe talk a little bit about some of the lessons from improv.
Yeah, thanks, David. Yeah, that's a good point about vulnerability, because it's an important part in improv, and being vulnerable on stage, being open on stage to what's happening. The rules from the basic rules of the improv that I found were applicable to my work were, the big one, which is yes and, which is always, enhancing what was given to you and not being a no butter. The ensemble, the nature of ensemble work, and the fact that one of my instructors, a guy named Martin DeMott, he would always say, he's like, look, if we all go out on stage to make everybody else look better, then we'll all rise higher than when we go out on stage to make ourselves look better. And that I find the same thing in meetings. If I go into my meetings with the idea that I'm going to support my team and take their ideas and help them advance their ideas and work in a collaborative environment. I mean, it seems silly to have to say that, but yes, it really helps us grow the ideas and grow what we're doing. The concept of bringing value in an improv scene, you don't enter a scene without bringing something to add to it. If someone's out on stage digging a hole and I walked out and said, John, Mom said that she wanted to be buried in the front yard, then that is, adding a relationship that is a sibling and raising the stakes. So I've added value to that scene by coming in with that. And the same with a meeting. If I'm coming to a meeting, I want to know that I can add to it. I was invited to do so. And two, I don't want to go to the meeting just to tear down things. I go there to advance and see what we can bring to the conversation. The in the moment comment is really about that in improv, nobody cares what happened yesterday and nobody cares about what happened tomorrow. And being in the moment is really important for improv as well as for meetings, in the sense of, being present and keeping your phones down. And even in the sake of remote work, staring at the camera and listening to what's going on and trying not to multitask, unless you're in one of those meetings where you have to multitask. But, it's paying attention to what's going on, so when someone asks you a question, you're not having to backtrack and figure out what it was they asked you. And most importantly, it's embracing failure. It's going to happen. We're going to break a lot of things as we learn to work remotely. We're going to discover a lot of things about how we work together. There was a really great presentation through the councils last week about the best practices and worst practices of working remote. And some of that is, you're going to have to test it and break it and see what happens. We just had 150, our all staff meeting was all remote for the first time. And they sent out a note and they were like, IT said that everyone has to turn their video off unless you're talking, because it's probably going to break. But it didn't, it all worked. It was fine. So what I want to do first though is, with a warm up. And this is something that I think is important as we work from home, because, even going into the office, while it may not be a whole lot of effort to get out to your car and take your car and then get out of your car and go in your office, being at home, you just go from bed to kitchen to the office. And so this is a really easy warm up and can be done on camera. So I'm expecting everyone to get up out of their chair and to do this. So there's a video at this link here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Phil. Do you have something?
So obviously they can't see each other and we can't see them, but we want them to go ahead and get out of their chair.
Oh yeah, we want everybody to do this. I want to do that. I'm going to get up and do it. So the way this is done is, honestly, when we did it in improv, we would do 10 all the way down, okay? So what you do is you're shaking your left hand, your right hand, your left foot, and your right foot. And it looks silly, and that's okay, but that's fine. So
Silly is not only okay, Gonzo, it's good, right?
yes, and it gets you out of your chair. It gets your, and then, you can do this on your own. Your kids are going to think you're crazy. I mean, my kids already think I'm crazy. So here we're going to start this off. We're going to start with our left hand, and we're going to count. We're going to do a short version. We're going to count up to 8, and then we're going to count up to 4, and then we're going to count up to 2, and then we're just going to do 1. And after we finish the 1, 1, 1, 1, we all go woo. Okay. So here we go. We're going to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1.
All right. Man, that's a little advanced for me there.
It's a really simple, and like I say, we used to do it all the way up to 10 and 10 all the way down to 1. So it took a little longer, but and it's okay to hold on to things. Sometimes I have to hold on to things too.
And maybe it's also good if you're doing it the first time, you might even do like a practice round so people, get whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe we need a stretching exercise before that. So.
Yeah, or a mirroring exercise. Oh, how do you mirror on? You can't really do mirror on.
You could, if you got it all on video, if everybody's on the screen, you could mirror. But that's what you're in improv. You do it. You try to do it in unison, and so it's a way to bond as well as just to get you out in a remote situation, get you out of your chair. So I'm going to turn over the next one to David.
All right, great. So I think this one we're going to try to utilize.
I'm feeling great. Let's just pause for a moment.
Sure.
On the panelists, I'd love to see in the Q&A section, did that sort of change your whole attitude? It did for me anyway. You can just put in little comments there. I love that. By the way, that's something you could do at the beginning of each meeting, right?
Yep.
So I was gonna say, and even in the office as well, right? If you're feeling the lull, especially about now, right? Like it's after the lunch lull, you're kind of struggling, you got to push through to the end of the day. It's a good just way to revive.
Oh, wow. Catherine Gibson right now wrote, yes, just almost as good as a cup of coffee. That's pretty good. Carla Vidal wrote, hard to do that without a smile. Yeah. And then
it is. That's a great point. That's a fantastic point.
Yeah. Okay.
And and it points to vulnerability. And if you're a team leader, people are often concerned about how they look or how they feel and act on camera. And if you're willing to get up there and be a little bit silly, it's going to lighten the mood and it's going to change the demeanor of the conversation.
That was really fun. I love that. Okay. All right, David. Tchotchkes, baby. Does everyone know the word tchotchke? I guess it must be kind of now known as a Yiddish word, right? Maybe not.
It is. We were going to call it desk stuff stories or something like that. But
I love tchotchke. I just don't know if it's a word that people know in the broader world outside of New York, where I live. You guys are outside of New York, so maybe that's a good sign.
I was impressed that Gonzo spelled it right.
You're familiar in Denver there, Brittany?
You know what tchotchke?
Sometimes we also call it stuff.
Stuff.
This is great. We have like a radio program here or something. That's great. This is like the anti-Howard Stern or something like that. Okay.
One of the fundamental lessons that I always learned from stand-up comedy was it's impossible to not want to be with somebody who is clearly enjoying their job. And I feel the same about this panel. Like we're all enjoying it, and it's hard not to want to be a part of that.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So this was something that we just came up with, and I feel like we're all adjusting to working in potentially a suboptimal environment. Certainly a different environment than we're necessarily used to. I know I have been at home, and so what we thought was. Would love, at least for the panelists, to find one thing that is, well, I'll say within 5 feet of you right now. It can't be more than 5 feet, but within 5 feet of where you're sitting right now. And then tell us just a short story about it. And everyone in the chat, we'd like to vote on whether it is a truth or a lie. So I'll start just to show. So I am working out of our family room. I've got something called the blinger.
Oh, hey, David, for one moment, I'm telling you, why don't we stop sharing, because that will allow you, when you're focused, to be much bigger and we'll be able to see the object better. Okay.
Oh, sure. Okay. And for this object, you definitely want to see this object much more clearly.
By the way, those of you using your Zoom, there's a speaker view and a gallery view. So use the speaker view and that'll really magnify so you can see clearly what each person is presenting. Okay, so go ahead, David.
Yeah, because you want to get up real close with the blinger. This is something that I carry with me all the time. I actually had Jessica Simpson autograph it because it allows you to put bling on your jeans or on your clothes. And I just try to keep it close by at any given time. And
I love that.
I'm trying to be vulnerable here, Phil. Not something that I would tell a lot of people, but the fact that we've got a blinger, you never know when you're going to need it heading into a meeting. So I try to carry it with me whenever I can. Okay, and so we'd like people to vote on, was that a truth or was that a lie? And vote in the
vote in the chat. Yeah, vote in the chat. All right, I see a few votes in there. Come on, people, let's see the votes. Come on. All right.
Yes, I like Summers, the nuance that it's autographed, but by someone different than Jessica Simpson. That's good.
Ooh. And Catherine Gibson says, "Where's the signature?"
Yes, it's really hard to see. It's the camera angle.
The lighting.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's the lighting. Of course.
And Paige said she didn't see any autographs, so who knows?
So that is obviously a lie. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I'm working out of her play area right now. So she had taken over the family room, and apparently she loves to bling. What 6-year-old girl doesn't love to bling? So, so that's where we're at. So that's my truth or lie.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I would love the next person to go, and we'll see if we can gauge truth or lie.
Okay.
Katrina actually said it looks like a ViewMaster viewer. It does. It totally does.
I thought the same thing.
A little bit.
Yeah, those old things that you crank through and have 5 photos.
I have one of those.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
It's
A
sitting in the
ViewMaster
bookshelf
viewer or a
by my
blinger?
house.
You have the blinger
cool.
or the ViewMaster?
An old viewfinder. Like
Yeah.
click, click,
They're
click.
making a comeback.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, this is vintage. This is an antique.
Really? Oh, nice.
Awesome.
Cool.
All
So,
right,
yeah.
who wants to go next?
So I'm gonna share mine. So you can see from behind me that I had a friend who worked for the New Orleans Museum of Art, and one day she saw I had a poster in my apartment, and she when she was at Tulane and I was at LSU, and she gave me all kinds of grief. She was like, "Don't you ever buy a poster again? There are too many local artists who make great stuff, and you can get it really inexpensively and fill your place with real art." And so I've taken that to heart. While my house, I try to buy local art, and it's all very eclectic. So this piece, though, I bought this piece at a fair, and it was what I found out was that the artist was like a 3rd-generation trainee of Vincent van Gogh, and this was a small piece that they had put up in one of those stand-up booths at the Riverside Arts Fair. And I picked it up for about, I picked it up for $20. So, yep, here we go.
You picked that piece up for $20. Okay.
Yeah, it's not very big. It's a small piece.
Oh, somebody just wrote, Kat wrote, "If you lie about art, you go to hell." So that's definitely... Oh, someone else too specific to be a lie. I think it's truth. Okay, Colleen says lie. What do other people think? Come on, let's get some votes going on in here, folks. Okay. Lies,
Lies.
lies, yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, lie. Truth. Oh, Brittany voted truth. Paige said lie. I guess we're supposed to vote. I'm gonna vote. I say truth. Okay.
Okay,
so
here we go.
The majority are saying lie.
It was It's made my son in '08. He's a junior in high school now. So
Yeah, I was with Kat. You can't lie about art. So that's the only rule in this game. If you're going to talk
yeah, I
about
saw
art,
Elizabeth called it as painted by my kid. So
yeah, straight to hell, says Kat. All right, cool. Who's next?
do we want to do one more? Who wants to do one?
Yeah, you have an object picked out?
Yeah, let's. Does anybody from the audience want to raise their hand? And
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, does someone from the audience want to come in and join us and show us a tchotchke? Just put it in this chat if you want
I
to do
have
it.
one while we wait for someone to volunteer.
Okay, great. Go
Raise
ahead.
your hand and then I can promote them.
Oh,
Oh,
Katrina,
Katrina
is-
has one.
Oh, good.
Okay,
do Katrina
let's
then.
promote her.
Yeah.
Okay. You having trouble?
I can't even find her on here.
I can't find her. Hold on.
You know, is she on a phone? Maybe. Hey, Katrina, we're having trouble finding you. I'm here.
She said, I'm here.
I think she's a figment.
But notice she's not blue, so we can't even
Right.
click her in the chat, whereas others we can.
Interesting.
Oh.
Oh,
So
she's a figment of our imagination, I think.
you were
Yeah,
missing. the-
must be.
So Katrina, are you called in via video or by a phone? Just real quick question there. Are you on a computer? audio?
Computer audio.
Oh, okay. All right, that might be it. But no video. Do you have video, Katrina? Do you have good computer video? She does. Well, what the hell? Kind of
Why
a.
can't we find her?
All right, so you don't want to do this to your employees.
Gotta make
All
sure
right,
they want to participate.
Katrina,
Yeah.
we don't know what's happening here. It's weird. You are grayed out and you're not. Let me just click find an attendee and just see if that.
Yeah, we can't find her. Summer.
It's weird.
Well, Summer I see.
Yeah, but I don't know where.
Yeah.
We don't know why. Sorry about that. Katrina Glover at
All right,
Freddie
Katrina.
Mac. Yeah. So
Colleen would like to join.
what did you say?
Colleen raised her hand.
Okay.
Put her on.
Let's bring her
Let's
up.
bring her on. So Katrina, we're gonna have to troubleshoot that. We're not sure why you're in the thing, but we don't see you as an attendee. It's a strange thing. Thank you. Okay, Colleen, you got to turn on your video.
I had it
There we
on.
go.
Okay. I was just trying to see if you guys could.
Yay.
There I am.
Ah,
Okay.
you're in the witness protection program, Colleen.
Kind of foggy behind me. Yeah, that doesn't look so good, does it? I don't know if
Yeah.
you guys will be able to see it. Can you see
Okay.
this?
Yeah.
Oh, that looks
Ooh,
great.
that is cool.
So this is a piece of wood
Okay.
that I was
Lie. No. Oh.
Lie, I say. Wait, what? It's a piece of wood? Okay, go ahead.
at the Modern Elder Academy down in Baja, Mexico. And it is representative of the circle time, and I meditate with it.
Oh, okay. All right, votes come in. So she said she got it at the Modern Elder Academy, which Chip Conley runs, and you guys have seen Chip. Everyone's saying true, and she has an honest face.
How can you even see my face?
True.
And
Annette
can't
says,
fly
why?
with the
You use
modern
it to cast spells.
Well, I do that too, but I do meditate with it too. But yes, I do cast spells as well. But
Yeah.
it is true.
That's funny.
Double
Okay.
toil and trouble, whatever, from Macbeth. Any other votes in on truth or lie? Anyone else? Okay. So the majority think it's true. What is it, Colleen? Is it true?
It is true. It is
Ah,
true.
I love this. This is a fun game.
That does too.
Okay.
Great.
I'm gonna
You know,
go
I
back to the
did
presentation. Move
push-
us on.
I
Hang on
did
a second,
start
Colleen.
my video in the very beginning. Maybe that had something to do with it because I saw some of the comments saying they never saw the video option. So
For whatever,
that
there's not
matters.
until you're promoted.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
back
you,
to-
Colleen.
So moving on to another game, and I want to make sure we get enough stuff in here. One word stories. Okay, so we're trying to figure out. We were trying to figure out how we wanted to do this beforehand, and it looks like we're going to try and do it by chat. And so what we'd like is 4 or 5 people to raise their hand as being part of this. And Charlie, Brittany, one of you can tell us who those people are. We'll put them in an order, and then we'll walk them through the process of doing one-word stories.
And does everyone know how to raise their hand? By the way, is that obvious? Let's just say. Remind me what it looks like when you're an attendee to raise your hand. Does anyone know? Looks like people are raising their hands, so.
Yeah, I think, or I'm not sure how else.
Just be a hand down at the bottom.
Elizabeth, how did you raise your hand?
At the bottom of the screen, there was a chat, a raise hand, and a Q&A icon.
Okay, awesome. Okay,
Okay, so now that we've seen this, I'm going to stop sharing.
okay. Okay, so we have, let me see.
Now I need, this is all I can do.
There you go.
Now I
That's
can't see my
very cool.
computer.
That is very cool, though, I have to say.
Now I can't see my computer. You're all blurry now.
Check out Summer's hat.
I like it.
I love it.
Oh, exit full screen, that's why.
Very cool.
Love that hat.
Okay, as we get people promoted, so the rule of the game is we'll pick an order, and then starting with that order, the first person says one word, and then the next person will add a word to that sentence. So you only get one word, and at some point that sentence will feel like it's wrapping up, and whoever's moderating which will be me at this moment, will yell out a punctuation, period, exclamation point, question mark, to end it, sort of like going scene. So I've got Elizabeth, Summer, Shelley,
Paige.
Lindy. Perla, is Paige part of this too? She doesn't have her audio on.
I think Paige will be part of it.
Okay, I think we have plenty.
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, great. Okay, now Gonzo, one of the things you're going to have to do is you're going to have to call on each person.
Yes.
Because
Well,
when
what I'm
you
hoping is I'll call out the order that I see them.
Just so when you do one-word games in a real space, people are in a circle and it's obvious who's next to who, right?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Do it here.
Yep.
Just a quick question and general practice. We like Jen Nash, Shelley Hancock, Paige. Are you able to turn video on or no?
I'm going to try.
Okay.
Visitors.
It makes a big difference if we can do video on. Yep. There you go.
Okay, so I have.
Right, and then Jen Nash and Shelley, and then Jay Blake. What's your? Can you do video? And what's your first name, Jay Blake? So, can you hear us, Jay Blake?
Was that Jen? I thought I saw.
There is a Jen. That's Jen Nash.
Oh yeah, Jen, right there.
I think with Jay Blake, we can't hear their audio. So
It's
Britt,
Janice.
it's Janet.
Janice Blake.
Janice. Well,
Okay.
I'll give her a new name.
So we want to try this. We'll do it once verbally, and then we want to try it in chat because we want to see how it works. So what we'll do is because I think it'll be disruptive to call out name and then have them give the word. So what I'd like to
give
do
them
is
an order.
I'm going to give them the order. You have to remember who was ahead of you, okay? So the order I have here is Elizabeth, Summer, Lindy, Perla, Paige, Shelley, Jen, and Janet. Am I missing anyone?
I think Janice is not here.
Oh, okay. No Janice. So Elizabeth, Summer, you'll have to remember the person ahead of you. Elizabeth, Summer, Lindy, Perla, Paige, Shelley, and Jen. And Waring, is that? I can't tell from the screen name who that is.
Ama. Is that Amy? Am I? I think let's skip them for now.
Okay. Okay. So everybody remember Elizabeth, Summer, Lindy, Perla, Paige, Shelley, and Jen.
That's
And
Andrew Mainwaring.
oh, what's that?
Andrew Mainwaring.
Oh, Andrew. Okay. So Andrew is last.
He's gone. He's gone.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 7. Elizabeth, Summer, Lindy, Perla, Paige, Shelley, Jen, and Andrew. Okay.
Andrew's not in here.
Oh,
So.
Andrew's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jen, you're last. So Elizabeth, you're going to start off, and whenever you're ready, start off with the first word.
Gonzo, just go over this again. Has everyone done a one-word story? Okay, go over the rules one more time.
It's really easy. So essentially, if we were in a room together, I would point to you when you would say what word it is. But because we're doing this remotely, we're going to go in an order, just like if you were standing in line and we were going down the line. You get to say one word. You should follow the word ahead of you. And try and make sense of the sentence and just add to it as it goes on. Don't try to think too far ahead. You really only want to listen to the 2 or 3 words that happen right before you, and know that if you prepare too far ahead, the word you choose is not going to make any sense.
Hey, Gonzo, let's just do a quick demonstration. You, David, me. 1,
Okay.
2, 3. Okay,
Once.
Okay, go ahead.
Once.
I.
Woke. And then woke.
Oh, whoa. Up.
2.
A.
Fish.
Above.
My.
Bed.
There you go.
Period.
And what you try to do is not is complete and take what the offer the person's given you. Don't rebuttal it or negate it. Try to just keep going with the offer they've presented you. Yeah.
Yeah, very much a yes and environment. Okay, so ready. Elizabeth, Summer, Lindy, Perla, Paige, Shelley, and Jen.
Brittany
Elizabeth,
did
go.
put the order in the chat. If
Oh, okay. Oh, good.
Oh, that's nice. So in the chat we can see the order. Perfect.
Okay, and begin.
Last
Week.
We.
Ran.
Say that again, Paige. 2. Okay.
the
House.
that
Grandmother.
Lived.
In.
Or.
car.
4.
Okay. Say that again, Shelley.
Car.
Lived
I
in
lost that
car.
last train. So I
I
think
thought there was a your before me. Lived in your car.
So yeah, so clearly, I think we all have to be a little louder. That's one of the interesting challenges we're learning here. Paige, if you could turn your volume on your mic up, I think, or get closer to your computer. We want to be able to see your brain through your nose.
Okay. You see any grays?
No, yeah, sounds good now. Okay, we see your forehead. Let's do this again. So starting from the top,
And by
Elizabeth.
the way, should we do just
Oh.
how many times around do you want people to go?
Well, we'll just do it one more time, and then we'll try. I'm going to try it in chat real quick with David leading. Okay, Elizabeth, go.
Yesterday.
We.
Went.
Through.
A.
Tunnel.
Up.
The.
Shoot. Summer, is that you? Just
Yeah, you're next, Summer.
I'm sorry, I missed Elizabeth.
Oh,
Yesterday we
the.
went through a tunnel of the
No.
nearest.
Up the. I think it's up.
Oh, up the
Up the.
nearest.
city. What?
By.
The. The.
By the.
River.
And.
Done! Yay! Woo! So listen, this one's harder to do on the Zoom.
It is. So,
You want,
David, do we want to pick new people, or do you want to just run with this and pick a new starter, and then we'll do it? I want to see it happen in chat.
yeah,
what
I think it'll be
Annette said,
interesting in
too.
chat. Should go more quickly. Yeah.
Okay. So same order in chat you want it to be, David, with these guests, or what are you thinking?
Yeah. Let's try the same order.
Okay,
And
so Elizabeth, you would kick it off, and Paige, we lost your video, but I assume you can type into the chat. So Elizabeth would type one word in the chat, and then Summer, you would follow it up, and then Lindy, and so on. Okay.
And I think we have to, everyone has to set their chat to all panelists and attendees, otherwise people will miss words in the.
Yes.
Good point.
Good point.
Good job, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I'm a Zoom expert, what can I say? Okay, let's see, I have to start.
By text. Yeah. Yeah, don't be afraid to do simple words like and or I or we. And there are, okay, many. Leaping around. Oh, I love this.
That's 2 words.
That's 2 words. All right.
Sounds like the end of a sentence. That was great.
Really good though.
Yeah, I think the issue is that there's a little bit of lag, and you have to be comfortable with the silence while it's happening. But it seemed to pick up pace and be interesting as it went.
Applause! Yay!
And then, well done, everyone. Thank you for volunteering.
So one of the things that is worth pointing out is just even in just that, where it was a little bit disjointed and a little bit hard to move between one video and the next. Even there, between the first time where it was like seconds between, and the second time where you actually could follow the story, and then by chat we could all follow the story. Like even there, we're getting better as a group, just in the span of a couple minutes. So I actually thought there was a good. It was a good evidence of you can start to kind of create that community and create that teamwork together very quickly even just inside a chat window.
Yep.
So let's give a round of applause again to our performers. Yay! All right. Okay, Brady Bunch. Cool. Brittany, you can go ahead and send everyone back to the chat purgatory or whatever that is. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Looked like people mostly just wanted to go off video, I think. So I think that those were just a couple of games that Gonzo and I had talked about and thought through. There were 2 others that we thought might be kind of cool to try to figure out, but we figured we probably would not have time to fully play them. We thought we'd just walk through kind of what that might look like. Again, this is if you're looking for something to do with your team that is like a 5-minute or less icebreaker.
Let me jump in, because I love the Brady Bunch concept. But I just want to see, first of all, if there are any questions or comments from what we've done so far. Right, let's give folks a chance to just kind of reflect back to us, see if there's anything they want to hear. Because these first 3 things, I think, is it 3? Am I right? Yeah, 3 things. Yeah. I think are already great. That first one was particularly like super easy to do and fun, I thought, for everybody, but I thought they were all good. So does anyone have a comment or question or, no questions. These are all great. My team is already doing show and tell during our daily stand-up. Cool. Nice variety of ideas. All right. Awesome. I'll just wait a couple more seconds, and then I'll turn it back over to David to walk through Brady Bunch if there aren't any.
Is there a way to get Katrina on audio instead of video? If there is, I'd love to hear more about what her show and tell during her stand-up looks like.
There's not. Yeah, there's not.
What's going on?
Find her in the list.
This is a Zoom issue.
I've never seen that.
An anomaly. I've
Right
never
now.
seen it. Yeah, she's not showing up on any.
Yeah.
I'm in a deep
She's in a
cave.
deep cave.
Is that, have you been sent along with all the key government officials to that secret deep cave?
Undisclosed location.
She's in a CIA black site.
The pandemic will not reach you there. And she is indeed right outside DC, it turns out. The plot thickens. All right, David, go ahead. Talk to us about Brady Bunch.
Sure. So our idea here was to try to do that iconic photo. When you've got Zoom, if there's nobody sharing, you've got all these different videos all over the place. And it does kind of look like the Brady Bunch, right? It looks like the 9 box or the Brady Bunch. So our idea was, can you coordinate as a team to try to, based on where you're ordered, in where your tile is ordered, can you coordinate as a team to all point at one person or look at one person and kind of coordinate it all at the same time? And it might be hard to do, but
so let's just do this with the 5 of us right now. So
Point at David.
and before you, but let me just tell the audience. So everyone needs to be on gallery view. So you see 5 tiles here. Now the trick is, are we all in the same place, or does each of us, our computers show us in a different place, right? Okay, so Brittany, why don't you point to David? Did she freeze? She froze. All right, Charlie, why don't you point to David? I will point to David. He's this way for me. He's down.
Yeah.
He's to your left.
Yeah, I think this has to be directed by one person to do a screenshot of each, so each person, like if I did it, I would have Charlie look down. I would have Brittany look to her right. I would have Phil look up. And because right now, David is to the.
Right, I know, but, and let me just address a couple of things. So Elizabeth, good point. Only panelists can control their view. So that's interesting, but the 5 of us who are in here right now, we all are seeing each other in different places.
right.
And I don't think the admin or whatever of the call can switch that around. So I don't see how we can do, you're saying take a screenshot?
Well, see, what I'm saying is that the team leader would, whatever view they're in, would do that, or you choose someone to say, someone would choose, I'd say, okay, Brittany, you do yours, and she would direct the people that she sees. Like if it's a big group, I mean, you could have, 20 people in the view, and you could pick 9 from that view and direct them and then screen cap it and share that. Because it's not gonna, you won't know what it looks like until you see what Brittany's view is.
All right, so let me try something here, because this all sounds confusing to me. And
Yeah, so you have to both take the screenshot.
Yeah, so I just took a
Because
screenshot.
everybody's going to see different things. Choreographing to what you see.
Right.
All right, so I just took a screenshot. I'm going to share my desktop. And this is actually the screenshot. Charlie, your eyes are closed.
Yeah.
And of course you can't, no one's moving around, right? This is a picture. So
right,
what would we do now, Gonzo?
Well, no, you would do the screen capture after. So what you would do is in your view, so to unshare.
Okay, yep.
In your view, direct us to look at one person.
Oh, only one person.
Right, or however you want it. I mean, you can make us look like we're looking in a circle, or
Yeah, it has to be directed by you, because we
all
see
looking up or all looking left.
Well, Annette's writing, I feel like there are possibilities for hilarity with people taking screenshots of their various layouts.
Right.
What the hell is going on? Exactly. Like we're doing right now for you. This is a beautiful experience. All right, so Gonzo, why don't you try it? My brain isn't working.
Okay, so I have this view with the 5 people. So I'm going to ask David to look to your left, and Brittany to look to her right, and Phil to look up, and then Charlie look down and to your left, like that. Okay, hang on. Oh, damn it! Gotta get my screen. There it is. Getting it. getting there. And boom. Okay. So let me, and then I got to get back to sharing.
Annette is also saying she bet teams can find a way to make this into some kind of bingo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that gets to our last game.
That's
So,
that's the last one.
Yeah.
let me
All right,
get
let's
back
see it,
to
Gonzo.
Zoom. Sharing, and so that's my view.
Oh, that's cool.
So if you had at least 9 people in the square, you could have them look wherever, you could do like a circle all the way around. So someone's looking,
I like it.
All right, now I get this. Okay. Okay. And Elizabeth wrote, awesome. Yeah, I agree. Very cool.
Okay.
Right, Elizabeth? All right.
So Charlie, that's now the image that we'll post, right? For when this gets posted on the
Oh, yeah,
recordings.
that is definitely the image. That is definitely the image that we post. Awesome.
Okay.
And then bingo.
So get to the suggestion that came through. Who was it that someone said something about tic-tac-toe or something? So this was our last idea, and it's the most involved, and there's probably no way for us to try to accomplish it in the 10 minutes. But the idea is that using the same technique, you get 9 people in a square, but you screen cap them first, okay? And everybody does a screen capture of their 9, and it's your tic-tac-toe board, okay? And so then what happens is the moderator, the team lead, or whoever's in charge of the game will have a set of either Trivial Pursuit questions or like David found a whole bunch of questions on the internet. Imagine that there are things like that on the internet.
Can we try one question? Can we try this? Let's promote 3 people. Have them raise their hands. David, you have some questions. Let's try this. Let's take some. We got some time. We got about 10 minutes left. So raise your hands.
Oh, I just promoted Annette because she hasn't played with us yet. She just got voluntold.
Very excited. Yeah. All right, Annette. She's going to join us here in a minute. Anyone else want to raise their hand?
Well, we're doing that. So the idea around Hollywood Squares, one of the funniest conversations I ever had was back when I was working with Louie Anderson, and I got a call on a Saturday from a producer. He said, I'm a producer with Hollywood Squares. We're filming tomorrow. We're a square short. Can you guys help?
Square short and a day late. Yeah.
A square short is the motto in most grocery stores these days.
Yes, exactly. Toilet paper, baby.
And that's a really funny point. You said, I guess the only challenge is how to explain Hollywood Squares to Gen Z. I'm technically a Gen Z. I have no idea what Hollywood Squares is.
Right. And that's why I think you're absolutely right. And so really the whole point is, the point of the game is you ask someone a Trivial Pursuit question or a question, and they...
I got it.
You got it, Brittany? Okay.
Yep.
We need a couple more people here.
And they either answer that question, either to the best of their ability or lie to the best of their ability. And then what happens is one of your other team members has to guess whether or not they're telling the truth or they're telling a lie. And if they tell a truth, you mark an X or in your square. And if they tell a lie, you mark an O. And the first person...
Okay, we need your camera, baby.
The first person in the middle of the first person who gets 3 in a row on their square. So we got Annette, Catherine, and Paul joining our we need one more.
I'm working on it. Here we go.
And then I'm going to screen capture this. And we should all screen capture it.
Are you in an office, Paul?
I'm not actually. Our office is all working from home, and we installed these fake backgrounds so that we feel
like I have. Right. Well, that's a pretty effective fake background, though. I mean,
I know it looks pretty real, and it is actually our office. So
I found out mine doesn't work, so when I do mine, I'm like,
shoot. We need your video again, baby.
Okay.
All right. So Gonzo, walk us through. What do we do now?
So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to screen cap mine. Don't need to necessarily, if you have, but it's just to remember which 9 people I had in my squares. And hopefully, you do this. So then what would happen is, so David, do you want to walk us through the question and answer part?
Sure. So we need 2 participants. And you'll go, and you guys are going to make the call of whether this person is telling the truth or telling a lie. So I'm going to have Charlie and Brittany, you guys go against each other. So Charlie, you pick one person that we'll ask a question to, and then they'll give an answer, and that answer will either be correct or incorrect, and you have to determine.
So I have to ask a question to someone.
Nope. You pick a person, I'll ask the question, then you have to decide if their answer is correct or not.
Okay, I pick Paul.
All right. So, and then Charlie, we'll decide, do you want to be X or O?
I'll be O.
All right. So Paul.
So what's Brittany if she's O? Oh, okay.
So these are all 1980s trivia. Paul, what well-known 1980s personality fought Sylvester Stallone as Clubber Lang in Rocky III?
Charlie, why did you pick me? I think I've already lost, because it isn't my goal to provide like an answer that you think is true.
Or false.
The thing is, Charlie will have no idea because she wasn't alive yet.
What you guys don't know is Charlie and I went to college together. So
I have to give an answer, Paul. So
I have to give an answer.
Yeah.
A convincing
say Becca Smith.
Sylvester Stallone fought Becca Smith in Rocky III. I think that's true or false.
And so then I have to say whether that was true or false?
Yes.
Yep.
I'm going to go false.
Turns out you're right. You were close. It was Mr. T. You fought Mr. T.
Oh, it's just the wrong gender and everything.
I pity the fool who doesn't know Mr. T.
That's right, exactly.
I pity the fool. Says that.
So I think I figured out how a better way to how we do this is that once we pick the 9 who are going to be it, then you create your own square with people's names in it. So it would be Charlie and then me and then David across. So you would write that down on a Post-it or whatever. And then it's because Paul didn't answer it correctly, that square goes to Brittany. So that would be.
No, Charlie. So he didn't answer it correctly, but Charlie knew that it was a lie.
Oh, that's true. So she gets what, an O, right?
Yep.
So Paul becomes an O.
Where?
Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
Okay.
Paul becomes an O, but Paul becomes an O in my score down here. Now, I don't know where he is in your view, but he would be an O in your 9, wherever he fits.
Right.
Oh, by the way, he's there. Is everyone else have him in that same spot?
We do. I do.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, I'm in a different spot on my screen.
Are you
Yes,
switched
yes,
to me, Paul?
he's gonna
Am
be
I
up
your
top.
bottom?
I'm top middle. Brittany, you're top left.
So you and I, you're,
See,
Yeah,
that's
Catherine,
All right,
Catherine
let's
Gibson is in the
one more
bottom.
question.
This is the bingo.
Yes.
yes,
Right.
yes.
All right, David, one more question.
All right, one more question. This is for Brittany. Who do you want to answer this question?
Catherine.
All right, Catherine, you ready?
Yes.
What TV channel launched in 1981?
Oh.
I want my MTV.
Yes.
Showing my age.
I want my.
All right, Brittany, do you think MTV launched in 1981 or was it a different channel?
I think that's true.
It is true.
Woo!
And that's how it goes in Hollywood Squares. Everybody's
right.
excited.
Exactly. So X gets the square.
Yeah. So that
right.
that is our version of Hollywood Squares.
All right, well, let's
Amazing.
wrap it up. We've got 3 minutes. Folks on any comments or questions from the peanut gallery? That's an old television illusion, right?
Very fun.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
thank you all for doing this.
energizing.
Yeah.
Good way to break up the day.
Thank you,
Yeah.
David, Gonzo,
So-
you guys. You rock. Go ahead, Gonzo.
So we had a couple of other things we were toying around with that may or may not be good ideas, like Simon or Phil says, but as I thought about it afterwards, it seemed a little domineering and like you don't want your team leader to be telling you to like stand on your head, but maybe you could find a
Bill
way to do
already
it.
would do that.
And then I think David and I are talking about a home office treasure hunt. So it's not just what's on your desk, literally having a list of things that you have to find in your home to and assemble in a certain period of time. Like you got to find a roll of toilet paper and a hand sanitizer.
You might not want to say toilet paper because people are going to be out, right?
Yeah, I know. That's why it's so difficult. And then, time to open mic on an audience.
Which of your employees does not have toilet paper?
Well, it would be difficult if you showed up with a roll of toilet paper that you stole from the office. So that might get you in trouble.
That's true.
And that was pretty much it. So if anybody has other ideas that they want to share with us, we're happy to add them to this.
You know what? Do you guys have what do you have up here? Do you have your emails or anything?
Yeah, I do. So there's resources this was something that Dave and I put together for the presentation a year ago. And then here's our contact information.
By the way, go back to that resources page for a second. Steve Martin's book, Born Standing Up, is absolutely freaking hilarious. And here's the tip, get the audiobook because he narrates it with his banjo.
Oh, that's awesome.
Unbelievable. All the other books there are great. We had Kathy Salitz, an old friend of mine, give the talk at the Council's Performance Breakthrough, so big plug there. Tina Fey, old friend of mine, not, I wish, but also really good. Keep going, but show us your email address again. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and we'll share these slides. So
yeah,
cool. That was fun. Thank you.
All right.
And let me just note a couple things. Katrina says we use a deck of cards from Best Self called the Edison deck and take turns choosing a question to ask the group. Sometimes deep, sometimes funny, always insightful. That's really helpful, Katrina. From deep
we'll add that.
CIA bunkers.
Yeah.
And then Annette Priest wrote, thanks for making my classic game show dreams come true today. Now I just need to figure out how to bring back match game. And then Anne wrote, thank you, lots of fun and good ideas. So that's awesome. Thank you, everyone who was here. And really, Gonzo and David, in the middle of this crisis, you guys took extra time to try to make this happen and really put some thought into it. And big round of applause for you. Thank you very, very much. Woo!
It's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.